tell you what, why don't we get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So thank you everyone from all over the world for joining us today. Today's webinar, we're going to focus on platform health, the foundation to your ServiceNow AI journey, always a popular topic. My name is Bruce Freilich. I'm the Director of Enterprise Architecture from ServiceNow, and I have with me Scott Zahler, who's the Vice President of Product from Bravium. So pleasure to have all of you with us today. Just to start off, if you've been on any ServiceNow webinars, you've seen this slide before. This is our safe harbor notice for forward-looking statements. So we just need to put this in each presentation. Next slide. Also want to make sure you're aware of future webinars. So you could see on the far right the QR code to see the schedule. So you could see any future webinars that are coming, and then we'll also share the recording from this will be out there, as well as any previous webinars we've had. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items. We have saved time at the end for any Q&A, but we do have someone moderating the chat, so feel free while we're presenting to use the Q&A button at the bottom. And we'll try to get to your questions as we go, and like I said, we will have time at the end as well. And when the event is over, we'll make sure we send out a short survey because we value everyone's feedback. For the agenda, I will start it off. We'll do a brief just meet the speakers, a little bit more about myself and Scott, and then Scott's going to go through Bravium at a glance. We're going to go through platform health and technical debt, and then Bravium's going to go through their best practice engine product and go through a case study from PayPal showing the success of using their best practice engine. So as far as quick introduction, as I said, my name is Bruce Freilich. I'm the director of our enterprise architecture team for the East. If you do have any questions at the end, my email is below. Feel free to send me an email with any questions you have. We also wanted to put some fun facts in here. I have 5 girls, and even my dog is a female. So I am the epitome of a girl dad. I wouldn't even know what to do with a boy. Between 5 girls and a female dog. So Scott, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott Zahler, I'm the VP of product, like Bruce mentioned. Our company is Bravium. We'll talk about that in a moment. My email address is here. And then my fun fact is I've got a dog named Wrigley. Speaking of Illinois, we're big fans of Chicago. Love Wrigleyville, love the area, love just visiting there, even if it's for a couple days and catch a game. Wrigley is actually my silent partner in the background here, so hopefully she stays that way. She's keeping the carpet down. One other thing I want to mention, in the top right is a QR code that links to our website. And so if you do have to drop early, feel free to scan that QR code. It will take you to our website directly. There is a form on there to fill out if you'd like to engage more, if you'd like a more personalized conversation after the presentation here. All right. Moving on to Bravium. So a little bit about Bravium. We're based out of Rockville, Maryland, so right outside Washington, D.C. We've been in business since 2010, really focusing on ServiceNow since 2014. So we're a pure play ServiceNow partner. All we focus on is ServiceNow. We're also a member of the Built on Now program, which recognizes specific partners that have solutions that are built on the Now platform. We're elite tier in consulting and implementation. We do a lot of U.S. federal work in CNI, and then we do build with the apps that we'll talk about today. We also have MSP, and we do some reselling as well. And so we're top tier in all of those programs. We've got our proprietary tools I mentioned that really come from the consulting side that we'll talk about in a little bit. But we're really proud that the apps that we have, Best Practice Engine specifically, has been the #1 rated app on the App Store for over 5 years now, 5.5 years. And we've got a global presence, meaning we have customers in every region. So all of our EMEA, APJ friends out there, we have customers in your region as well. We've been the Partner of the Year twice already. So in 2022 for Creator Workflow for the Americas, based on some great work that we did with customers. And then also in 24 this year, the App Store Partner of the Year for the Americas as well. So moving on, we wanted to ask some poll questions to kind of understand our audience, understand what you all are thinking about, and where you're coming from. And so the first question that we have here, we only have a few of these, but just first, how long have you had ServiceNow? And so we're going to be triggering a poll here that you can reply to.
Wow, Scott, most over 5 years, the vast majority, about 3/4.
Excellent. I actually cannot see the poll answers. You can see them, Bruce?
I can. So we have 17% at 1 to 2 years, 12% for 3 to 4, 37, 5 to 8, 35, 9 or more. So that's 72%, 5 years or more on the platform.
Excellent. There we go. Now I can see it. All right. Should we move on to the next question? Okay. So relevant to the topic today, what's your perception of your technical debt on your platform? You know, is it significant? Do you think it's significant? Is it significant but manageable, meaning you have it under control? Or is it unmanageable? You know, you really need some help getting it under control. Maybe you do some scans, but you don't know where to start, or is it just unknown? It's not something that you track.
Scott, I'm not sure if you could see these results, but it's interesting. 32% say unknown,
Wow,
which I'm sure is something you can talk about when you go through best practice engine.
for sure.
So interestingly enough there, only 12% of you say it's not significant. So 88% are saying it's significant, it's unmanageable, or it's unknown. So quite a lot.
Great. Okay. All right, let's go to the final poll question for now. So particular to this day and age, when are you looking to adopt ServiceNow's Gen AI capabilities? Is this something that you're looking for in the short term, 0 to 1 years, or more immediate, more midterm, 2 to 3 years, or longer term, 3+ years? It's a nice to have, or do you really just have no plans to adopt AI?
So we still have them coming in, but so far the majority is less than a year.
Wow, that's fast adoption. All right.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fast movers then.
So it looks like it went down to 49%, but then, within that 2 to 3 year mark, almost everyone on the phone.
Yeah, I see. Almost 80%. Wow.
Yeah.
That's significant. Okay. All right. Why don't we move on? And we'll start talking about the topic here today. Bruce is going to set some context and background.
Great, thanks, Scott. And now I know everyone's on the line today. So just as brief background, what we've seen with customers and what it looks like why so many of you are here today is because of the tech debt that you have on the platform. And these technical barriers, they really stop you from maximizing the full value of the Now platform. And it's a problem that we're seeing more and more with our customers. And it's why personally, I'm just such a huge fan of Bravium and their best practice engine. There's a reason, like Scott said, they've been the #1 store app for 5 years running, because their whole purpose for their app is to help eliminate this technical debt and have you really understand it much better. Next slide, Scott. So when we're talking about where does tech debt come from and what is the impact, as far as sources of technical debt, you may have some workflows that are overly configured. You may have custom code that you've built along the way. And when you try to do some upgrades, the dreaded skipped items where you're not quite sure what to do with those. What we've seen and why that first poll question was so important is the causes of the technical debt. Number one is early adoption of ServiceNow. In a few moments, we'll go to another couple of slides where I'm going to show you a picture of the capability list and how much it's grown over just not that long of a time period. And when I talk to executives, this inflection point is usually around probably, I'd say, 4 to 5 years. If you've been on the platform for that long, you may have some tech debt. Maybe some of the development was not based on best practices. Maybe a partner that you chose took some shortcuts along the way, and it's really caused some technical debt that's been out there. The biggest impacts is the upgrades, which should be so easy. They take a long time because you got to go through those skips. You really got to figure out what can be upgraded, what has to be redone. We talked about Now Assist and Gen AI. This is also an issue sometimes that we see, that customers, if they have a lot of tech debt, they're not able to leverage these newest platform innovations. So they're thinking they really have to get that under their belt first. And that's really all of this is the power of what Bravium brings. When I talk to executives all the time, they ask me, about reducing that debt, or should they kind of restart and go greenfield? And what they're looking for is a way to kind of quantify that. And in my opinion, that's where Bravium shines. They could come in to determine that technical debt. They could come in to recommend how to fix, really give you a very good assessment if it does make sense to start over. What I also love about what they're bring to the table, and Scott's going to go through this, is if I talk to an executive and they say, you know what, Bruce, we're going to go greenfield, but we don't want to have this conversation in another 3 to 5 years that we have to redo it. What can ServiceNow offer me to make sure I don't get in trouble again? And that's where Bravium could come in, really real time looking at that code to ensure we're not 5 years from now and we're incurring a lot of technical debt again. So next slide, Scott. So real quick, when we talked about, how long you've been on the platform, we have some folks, 8+ years. This goes back to 2012 when we released Berlin. Going back, like I said, this long ago, we never dreamed that the platform would be this huge transformation platform for the business that it is today. So there's many areas. It could be stuff like major incident management, mobile, HR service delivery, security incident response, where since it didn't exist, customers had built those capabilities themselves. Scott, next slide. And you'll see the growth with all the way to Xanadu. This is everything that's on the platform today. So again, no surprise, especially if you've been on the platform for a while, there may have been some of these capabilities that you just had to build yourself. Now it's out of the box and you're trying to figure out how to unwind that technical debt. And that's really where Bravium comes in to shine. So Scott, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. And, the impact of this technical debt or poor platform health is only multiplied by the new initiatives that the business and that leadership put on us, right? Specifically talking here today about AI and how the poor platform health or how technical debt can impact AI initiatives. We've listed out a couple here today: data integrity, where if you have unclean data, the models that rely on that data are going to have trouble with their effectiveness and their outputs. Slow system performance. This is something that we see a lot from our customers, where they have a slow performing platform because they've customized it for a long time, and that's just going to slow down the AI models, right? And their ability to do what they need to do. Increased technical debt. This just impacts the team's ability to work with the models, especially if they're doing troubleshooting or trying to maintain a platform that keeps having issues, and then you throw AI on top of it, you're only going to add to the complexity of your situation. And then lastly is security vulnerabilities. No one wants an insecure system. No one wants to be the headline, right? And so, if you have these sorts of vulnerabilities from poor platform health, that's only worse with having AI on top of it. And so, I'm happy to say that best practice engine, what we have to show you today, can help with all of these different initiatives. And we'll talk more about that as we get into the product.
And Scott, I know we're going to have the Q&A session, but I saw something pop up in the chat that to talk about for a second. It was from Robert. It says, we're only 1.5 years in on the platform. When would be a good time to start looking at the debt? I would say immediately. I talk about Bravium and Best Practice Engine for customers that are brand new customers. So, get the insurance policy now. You don't want to have the debt, and now it's a year, it's 3 years, it's 5 years, whatever it is, and you can't get yourself out of it. Wouldn't it be better to make sure you never get there to begin with? So Robert, I would say ASAP, sooner the better. I encourage all brand new customers to look at Best Practice Engine and Bravium, just to make sure they don't go down this road of technical debt.
That's right. And really the preventive aspects that we have with Best Practice Engine, you want to prevent the technical debt from occurring. As soon as you get best practice in and installed, you stop the bleeding right then and there. And so that's really going to start paying you dividends immediately, Robert. And we'll talk more about that today. Speaking of which, great segue into the product itself. So I'm going to go through the product. We'll do a little bit of demo of a couple of different functionalities, and then we'll tell a story at the end, as Bruce mentioned. And so starting off with Best Practice Engine, it really came from the consulting and implementation side. We do a lot of consulting and implementation, as I said earlier. We've got a large team. And so we sort of looked at our code review process and thought, there's got to be a way that we can speed up code reviews. It's just a simple concept, right? How can we speed up code reviews? Well, we can do real-time inspection. We could create a tool that could do real-time inspection of development as it's occurring, before it actually even gets into a code review. So while the developer is in the context of making the changes. And so if you look at this double-sided arrow, this illustrates the two modes that Best Practice Engine works. It scans to the right in that real-time prevention, like we were talking about, that Robert is going to help you. It will scan that and prevent developers from violating our set of best practices. And so that was the first use case. But then we also know, like Bruce has talked about, we have a lot of customers and even you folks on the phone that have been on the platform for a long time. You've been doing your health scans, but you need something more. And so that's where our nightly scanning comes in and can show you exactly where the issues are and how to fix them, what the severity of the issues are and how to fix them. Okay. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Now, the app has been on the store since 2018, and so it's really matured quite a bit. We continue to develop, have new fixes, new features that come out on it as well. And so I just called out a couple of things below First, the comprehensive definition set. So we have a huge definition set that comes from the ServiceNow community, our customers, our partners, but it also comes from our consulting and implementation. And so you're getting consulting out of the box from our best practices from the definition set. You're getting our experience comes along with the product itself. Second, our interactive dashboard reporting. I'll show that in a moment. I'm actually going to live demo it. Hopefully everything goes all right. Uh, it's very interactive. It tells you not only what the issue is, but it helps you navigate forward to the issue. Next, we have proposed fix. This is actually a very new functionality that we'll show today that we're very excited about. It's nicknamed Click to Fix. We not only show you what the issue is, but we also show you how to fix it, and we even draft the fix for you. And then lastly, we have a series of internal and external integrations. We can connect different instances if you want to do instance compare or for some of our workflow features, but we also have integrations externally so that you can work in some of our features allow you to integrate with your Agile tools. So Jira, Azure DevOps, you'll be able to integrate with those external to Best Practice Engine. So what's the value that we're going for here? The big value driver is the early detection. Find issues while the developer is in the context of making their changes before it even gets to a code review. That will increase your productivity. It'll reduce cycle time. It'll make your SDLC go faster, less churn, less rollbacks in production. All that goodness you're going to get from that early detection and prevention. Next is improved governance. This is huge for big teams out there where you've got multiple integrators or you've got multiple teams working on your instance. We provide a consistent common baseline standard for everyone to adhere to. Okay, and so everyone must adhere to the same rule set that we provide. And then lastly, training. The app really works as a training aid where you can train and teach your developers, whether they're junior or senior or architects, they're learning the best ways to develop and work on the ServiceNow platform. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears and do a little bit of a demo. We're going to show 3 different functionalities within ServiceNow, or excuse me, within Best Practice Engine. We're going to show real-time inspection. And so this is where we provide that feedback right then and there on the screen using our definition set. Second, we're going to show the Platform Manager dashboard. This is one of our custom role-based dashboards that we've created. And then third, we're going to show that proposed fix functionality where we actually draft and show you what the fix should be. So I'm just going to shift the sharing here. If you bear with me. Okay, so you should be able to see the video player now.
Yep.
And what I'm going to do is start playing it. And so what we're looking at here is a script that's being worked on by a developer. This script has known issues or known best practice violations in it. And so what the developer is going to do is go up to the top and actually save the script. Right then and there, immediately the script finds or the best practice engine finds the issues in the script and provides these errors. Now, what it's doing is it's scanning against our library of definitions. We provide, like I said, a comprehensive definition set out of the box for you to use, set up. You don't have to do anything extra. You also have the ability to add your own custom definitions. So if there's things that we don't have, or if you have your own best practices, if you have your own COE set up already, you have the ability to add best practices to it as well. And so the tool provides a lot of flexibility for you to build your own custom definitions. And so what we're looking at the top is an error message. And with that message, you can see it says what the issue is, where it occurred. So actually the line of the file where the issue occurred, and then how to fix it. And so with these error messages, a developer actually has to fix this before they can even save it. And so this is forcing the developer to fix it. And so what the developer on the screen is going to do is actually fix the issue, and then they're going to resave it, and that error is going to be removed. There we go. Now, the second message that's there, this is called a warning. And so warnings allow for developers to actually save, but they have to submit an exception for their team lead to approve. So again, it provides a little bit more flexibility for our development teams. And that is real-time messaging. Let me shift gears here, and I will pull up the dashboard to show you all that.
Yeah, so Scott, that's what I love about Bravium is, again, that ability real time. Maybe you had a junior developer, someone in a hurry, they didn't intentionally do something wrong, but they put their code in, and rather than it just going in and this being added to the never-ending list of tech debt, you were able to stop it right away so that it doesn't just get added to that list. And as you know, a lot of the debt can be very harmful. So you much rather catch it now than when you're ready to do an upgrade, maybe 3 months, 9 months later. So let's catch it right while we're writing the code.
That's right, Bruce, 100%. And this is, that early prevention detection, that's really the power of the tool to stop the technical debt from occurring so that you can have a more stable, reliable platform. Can you see my dashboard here, Bruce?
Yes.
Great.
And kind of to piggyback on Robert's question of why I would think and why I wanted to answer that question right away. We don't want you to wait the year and a half, right? Catch that debt right away. You could just be going live. There's going to be debt out there. So use Bravium to catch that debt as quickly as possible. And yep, you're all set,
Exactly.
Scott. I can see the dashboard.
Great. Thank you. So what we're looking at here, these are our custom role-based dashboards. We have a couple different dashboards that we've built for our customers to take advantage of all that data from the nightly reporting. This is the Platform Manager dashboard. I love this dashboard because it has a lot of different interactive data on it. The first of which I'll point out in the top right is the team list. And so this is multiple teams. So if you have a complex implementation, like I talked about earlier, and we'll tell a story about that, you can set up multiple teams. And so we've got sort of a mixed media combination here of movie themes as well as bands that represent the different teams that we've set up. Now, down the middle, we have our total violations. We've got some quick data figures that you can refer to. We've got the total number of violations in your instance, how many update sets you have in progress, your best practice engine score, which is sort of our take on a health score. And then we've also got the number of lines of code scanned. But what I really want to draw your attention to is this violations by impact level. So this is where when you start scanning your instance using best practice engine, we'll show you what the most impactful issues are that you have in your platform. And so you can see it's on a scale 1 to 10. You can see that the 2 is blue, so it's a little bit cooler of an issue, not as critical. But then in the 8, 9s, and 10s, we've got some red. And when we talked about earlier interactive, you can actually click on these. You can click on this dashboard and actually see that list of 10s were the 10 violations. Let me see if I can. The Zoom is blocking my tabs. Let me go back. Okay, now down below, we've got some trend charts. So as your team is working, whether they're working off technical debt or they're doing new build, you can see how the teams are doing over time. And so we've got trend charts for that. We've also got bar charts to show you who's the biggest offender. The Star Wars team is the biggest offender, probably Darth Vader and his shenanigans. But you can see which teams have the most technical debt. And the data just continues from there. We've got violations by priority. So where are the highest priority violations that need to be fixed? We even have violations by team. And so you can see which teams have the most technical debt and even which category of the team has technical debt. And where it's blue, it's hyperlinked. So again, if you want to just, for example, get to those 19 in deployment, I'm not going to click on it, but it will give you the list of 19 violations in that category. One more thing that I just wanted to show here is violations by file type. And so you can see down to the file type, which in which category as well are the concentrations of violations. This is actually a heat map. And so again, you can see a lot of blue cells here, but then business rule and maintenance has a lot of issues, or you can look at client script and performance has a significant amount of issues. This is where Toyota as a customer actually addressed their client script and performance issues and was able to reduce their transaction processing during the work hours, during the business hours by 50%. And so the transactions, their screens load faster during business hours. That gives their end users a better experience, and that just trickles down right to better feedback on the ServiceNow system. And so I really want to illustrate what some of the power of the reporting is, what that nightly scanning can do for you. It can pull the issues forward for you. You can start to digest and understand what sort of technical debt you have. When we talk about those of you that are unknown or don't really know your technical debt picture, these dashboards will help you sort of dissect it and will actually help you get down to the file level of where the issue is, the line item of that file even actually to fix it and give you the recommendations of how to fix it. Okay. So
and Scott, when you're talking about those performance issues on the client scripts, that's such a real world issue that occurs all the time. I remember getting a call from a customer, very large enterprise. They went live on EC Pro, and everything was at a snail's pace, right? I mean, the screens were just so slow, and they were complaining about performance issues, and we should do something about their instance. And once we started looking at stuff, we realized that this was all self-done, right? The way they were writing some of these scripts, and they were looping, and it was so inefficient just because they were newer on the platform. So with support, and it took a really long time and manually to find those, we're able to kind of coach them of what they were doing wrong. But all that's manual. All of that took escalations, and of course at the end of it, we refer them to you guys and say, you can get to this live, right? And before you put any of this into production and realize, your tens of thousands of users are having a bad experience, we could catch this up front.
excellent. Thank you, Bruce.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing with that. There's a lot more reporting that we can show. If you're interested, we can have a demo with you, as I said, and show you all that great, rich reporting. The last thing that I want to show real quick is just the proposed fix, the click to fix. This is really exciting. It's our version of, a bit of an AI light, if you will. And so I'm going to share another video here. And so what we're looking at, this is actually a violation. And so you can see the violation, this is the violation detail, but up here you have this sort of purple blue apply proposed fix UI action, and the developers can click on that. And so with this, we actually show we're going to look at the header level information of the violation. So again, where the issue occurred, how to fix it, the table that occurred on, what the level of rule is, links to supporting documentation. Again, going back to the training, you can read more about it. But then down below, we actually show a diff. We've actually fixed the issue. So on the left, we show what the issue is, how it looks today. And then on the right, we show the proposed fix. And so you can see we've added the GR to the beginning of that. Now, we do not actually make the change. You have to accept the change, and then you have to save it, and that puts it into an update set, just like any other change. You get all the audit log history that you would otherwise get, but we actually draft it for you. And so with the click of a button, you can insert the fix into your environment. And so you can see here in lines 5, 6, 7, 8, we've actually made the fix is actually taken in now. It's part of the code, and then we're just going to save it to make sure that that's added to the code base. And so we're not only calling out the issues. If you have technical debt, we're actually helping you fix the issues as well. And so really taking that next step to getting your instance healthy, getting it ready for Gen AI or whatever you have on your roadmap.
And Scott, I don't know if you see the Q&A. There is a question that just popped in there.
I do see that, and I see that it's asking, can BP do an instant scan and identify past? I assume that's best practice violations going retroactively. Yes, we do. We do scan your instance and tell you past violations or violations that you have today, as well as scanning going forward. So we'll tell you whatever technical debt you have today as well. I hope that answers the question. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears back to the PowerPoint. And we'll move on from the demo. Let's talk about a case study. So our friends PayPal actually co-presented with PayPal at Knowledge this year. They have a fascinating story about how they used best practice engine to really correct their system. And so just to set the context, they had a very large implementation. They were using a lot of different implementation partners, some of the world's biggest implementation partners, I believe, but a lot of different teams working on their ServiceNow platform. They also had their own teams. They had their own COE. They wanted to start up citizen developers, and so they had a tremendous amount of complexity, and this led to some significant issues for them. There we go. So what were those issues? They had a slow platform. They had poor health in the platform. They had frustrated customers. They had a lot of health scan findings. And so it was really leading to a negative situation for all parties. And so they really saw an issue or a need to address this, and they wanted to do something about it. And so that was where they went through. They went through this journey. They did market research. They did, they looked what was in the market. They engaged with us, with my team. We did a demo with them or a few demos with them. They did a trial. They're allowed to, you're allowed to try the product before you purchase. And then they were so enamored by it, they actually started to roll it out, or they purchased it and then started to roll it out. And they used a bit of a change management process to sort of make sure the rollout went smoothly, because there is a bit of a learning curve that has to go on with the tool. This will change behavior of developers in a good way, but you do have to be pragmatic about it. And so they're able to roll it out, make it operational, and the results really speak for themselves. They're really tremendous. They're able to prevent 8,000 violations. They were able to increase their health scan score from a 50 to 85, and they even wrote their own custom definitions on top of the platform. I should say this whole journey started with them. They were 4 years into their ServiceNow implementation. And so when we were talking about earlier, how long have you been on the platform? They were 4 years in, which is the same sort of category that a lot of you, I feel like, were from our poll questions earlier. And so through their journey, they were able to turn around their situation. They actually built a Tiger team that addressed more of the technical debt. debt. And by resolving it, that was the technical debt that we recommended they resolve. That was how they're able to lift their health scan score. And so now they're able to manage their technical debt. Their code quality is much higher. They have less issues in testing and production, and their developers are much more educated workforce. And so
So
these are,
Scott,
yeah,
just looking at those numbers, I mean, it's an amazing story. So typically, when you see a health scan in the 50s, your first instinct is let's start over. Let's
yeah,
go greenfield, blow away the instance, and start from scratch. And Bravium was able to stop that from occurring with PayPal. So just imagine everyone on the phone. If you're in these health scans that are low, Bravium could have really helped get you to that 80%, plus. And then I'm still staring at the violations prevented. I mean, 8,000. That is a huge number. The ROI when you're saying 4,000 to 8,000 hours served times, how many hundreds of dollars per, developer. That's just a huge ROI that they had. So they didn't have to start over. So probably save themselves a year of just starting over, and then, millions of dollars over time with these violations that they're able to prevent.
yeah. I mean, 100%. This is paid for the cost of the license, many, many times over, as you can imagine. And now, they talk about what's next, which is coincidentally my next slide. So what's next for PayPal? Now they're starting to dream big. How we started this conversation, and part of the context of this conversation, they got their platform healthy, and now they're looking at what else they can do. They're looking at Gen AI capabilities, the text to code. We can scan the text to code. Best Practice Engine can even scan the text to code. They're looking at great features like that. They're looking at expanding the footprint. So they want to do more federated development, more citizen developers. With citizen development, there's that whole, sort of Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Well, Best Practice Engine can make sure that everyone's behaving responsibly, and so there's a lot of safeguards in place for them with Best Practice Engine, and they're looking at proposed fix. There's still probably technical debt or remediations that they can do, and so they're interested in the new proposed fix functionality. And so when we look at, or when we talked about a healthy platform is foundational. This is what we're talking about, using Best Practice Engine to get you healthy, following our recommendations, get you healthy, get your arms around the situation. You can put a plan together. We can work with you to put a plan together so that you can look at doing more advanced features or operations like this.
So Scott, piggybacking on what you said with the Now Assist Gen AI stuff. So we asked that poll question, and you had the vast majority within 50% in the next year looking at that. I bet you the other 50%, one of the reasons why they're not is because of that tech debt, is because of that fear of text to code, if you will, that it could write all the stuff, thinking we're just not ready for that. But what you're
Right.
saying with PayPal, now that they're using Best Practice Engine, now a company as large as them is ready to jump into Now Assist and text to code.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And many of our customers are looking at, what else they can do with the platform. How else can they expand the usage? Because it's such a solid foundation that they have now.
Yep.
So with that being said, we've got one more poll question here. Would you like to learn more? Can we help you with your platform health? Yeah, I think Bruce, you said it best, right? Like we're just asking for some time, right? Some time to run a trial. We can run a scan of your platform. We can tell you what the issues are. You can start getting your arms around it. My team would, love to work with you to make sure that you're on the right path to success and prominence.
Yeah, and Scott, you and I have talked. I kind of when I talk to executives, I call it the Bravium challenge, right? I'll talk to an executive that says, "All right, we're at this inflection point. We're looking to start over," and I'll say, take Scott and Bravium up on this challenge. Let them do a quick POV, see what they could find, and maybe just maybe you don't have to start over. You could just use BPE to automatically fix some of the debt you have, rather than just blowing everything away. So, for everyone on the phone, I couldn't recommend best practice engine from Bravium anymore. Just a ton of customers that have used it successfully. So highly recommend you take them up on the offer for them to help you see if they could really help assist to eliminate some of that technical debt that you have on the platform.
For sure. And excellent. And so that's the end of the presentation. I'm sorry, my apologies. There is one more slide, how to connect with us. We talked about the QR code at the top right. There's braviumlabs.com. You can see all this information. You can check out our app store and what our customer base is saying about the app. We have a lot of great customer testimonials out there. That's how we've been the top rated app from what all of our great customers and their experiences with the app. And then you can find us at Knowledge. We'll be there in May. We'd be happy to engage with you. Hopefully we can talk before that, but we'll definitely be there in Las Vegas next year.
And Scott, I see a question just popped into the Q&A for you.
Yeah, Rebecca, unfortunately, you cannot try Best Practice Engine in PDI. That is a limitation. But if you engage with us, we can set you up with a trial in a non-prod environment at your location.
Great. And we'll open it up. If there are any other questions that you have, we do recommend use the Q&A function. We'll stay on for a couple of minutes to see if any other questions come up.